why you keep waking up at 3 a.m., and what your body might be trying to tell you. It's 3 a.m. The world is silent. Everyone else is asleep. But you're wide awake, again. Maybe this isn't the first time. Maybe it's become a regular thing. You roll over, glance at the clock, and wonder, why now? Why always around this time? You weren't startled, no bad dreams, no loud noises, just wakefulness. And somewhere inside, a quiet question begins to form. What's happening to me? Is something wrong? The truth is, waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just a random habit or a part of getting older. It's often your body, or your mind, trying to tell you something. In this video, we'll look at 5 powerful reasons why so many older adults wake up around this hour, not just biologically but emotionally. Behind these reasons are deeper stories of change, rhythm, memory, and how the body adjusts with time. This isn't about quick fixes, it's about awareness, self-compassion, and gentle shifts you can make to support better rest. So if you're tired of wondering what's going on, or just want to understand yourself better, stick around. This might change the way you think about sleep, and if that sounds like something you need more of, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss future videos like this. Let's begin. Part 1. The forward shift in your body's clock. Let's begin with something many people experience but rarely talk about in detail. The subtle but powerful shift in your body's internal timing, what scientists call the advanced sleep phase. Here's how it works. Throughout our lives, we live according to a natural rhythm, the circadian cycle, that governs when we feel alert and when we get sleepy. This rhythm is shaped by light, activity, temperature, hormones, and habits. In our younger years, this cycle tends to align closely with society's expectations. Stay up later, sleep in a bit longer, go through the day with lots of stimulation and movement. But over time, something begins to shift. As we age, that internal rhythm gradually starts moving earlier. You may notice it first in small ways. Feeling sleepy by 9 p.m., even if you're trying to watch a late movie. Or waking up before the sun without any alarm clock. You might assume it's just a new habit. But it's actually your brain and body recalibrating themselves on a different schedule. By the time you hit your 60s, 70s, or 80s, this shift becomes more noticeable. Your brain starts preparing for sleep earlier in the evening, and it also completes its rest cycle earlier in the night. That's why waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't necessarily mean something's gone wrong. It might just mean your body thinks you've already had enough rest. Let me share a story with you. Charles is 68. He recently retired and finds joy in his quiet morning coffee, evening TV shows, and afternoon gardening. But something kept bothering him. No matter what he did, he kept waking up at exactly 3 a.m., fully alert. At first he thought it was insomnia, maybe stress, maybe old age catching up. But once he learned about the advanced sleep phase, everything started making sense. His body wasn't malfunctioning. It was simply shifting. It had moved its night forward by a couple of hours. Instead of fighting it, Charles began adjusting his evening routine. He delayed dinner by 30 minutes. He replaced TV with a phone call to his daughter, and sometimes just sat on the porch to listen to the night sounds. He read under a warm light instead of watching a screen. The changes were small, but within 2 weeks, his wake-up time gently crept closer to dawn. What Charles discovered is this: when you work with your body instead of against it, rest becomes easier. Not perfect, but gentler. So the next time you find yourself awake before sunrise, ask yourself, is this my body's way of saying, we started early, so we're finishing early? Part 2. The melatonin drop that creeps in quietly. Let's shift now to something happening inside your body that's even quieter than your circadian rhythm, But just as important, it's the gradual decline of melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. Melatonin is the chemical messenger that tells your brain it's dark outside, it's time to sleep. When you're younger, your brain releases a strong, steady stream of melatonin as the sun sets. That's what helps you fall asleep easily and stay asleep all night. But as you age, the body begins producing less melatonin, and not just at bedtime, but all throughout the night. This reduction is subtle, and you won't notice it at first. You might still fall asleep without a problem, but what you may notice is that somewhere around 2 or 3 in the morning, you're suddenly awake. Not tossing and turning, just awake, as if your brain ran out of fuel for sleep. That's what happened to Harold. He's 72, a lifelong good sleeper, as he proudly called himself. But in recent months, 3 a.m. had become his wake-up hour. Not with stress, not with discomfort, just a gentle, consistent shift to full awareness. It puzzled him. He wasn't anxious. He wasn't in pain. He just felt done sleeping. The missing piece? Melatonin. Once he learned about the drop in melatonin levels that comes with aging, he started making a few changes, not drastic ones, but enough to make a difference. He began dimming the lights earlier in the evening. He avoided screens and blue light an hour before bed. He swapped out his nightlight for blackout curtains. He also began taking a short walk at sunset. Not for exercise, but to signal to his brain that the day was winding down. The result wasn't dramatic overnight, but gradually, Harold's wake-up time shifted from 3:15 to 4:30, then 5. He didn't just sleep longer, he felt more rested. That's the power of understanding what your body is actually doing. If you're still with me here and this is resonating, I'd love it if you hit the like button or leave a quick comment, maybe just a still listening or that's me at 3 a.m. It hits this content reach more people who are on the same journey. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. These topics are too important to ignore, and we've got so much more to share with you. Part 3. Physical discomfort. The body's quiet wake-up call. Now, let's explore another powerful reason for 3 a.m. awakenings. One that has nothing to do with schedules or hormones. It has to do with how your body feels when the world is quiet. Because, as we age, physical discomfort becomes more common, and the night is when we become most aware of it. Think about it. During the day, there's noise, movement, conversation, distractions. But at 3 a.m., all of that fades. And in that stillness, the smallest signals from your body become louder. A stiff shoulder, a dry throat, a dull ache in your knee from the way you've been lying, a bladder that suddenly feels full, acid creeping up your chest from dinner eaten a little too late. These aren't emergencies. They're not even medical conditions necessarily, but they're enough to pull you from deep sleep into waking. And once you're up, especially if you have to move, like going to the bathroom, your body shifts into a lighter state of alertness, and it's not always easy to return from that. Take Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who always called herself a light sleeper. She started waking up around 3:30 every night. No pain, no panic, just alertness. It wasn't until her doctor suggested tracking her fluid intake and checking her medications that she realized her evening pill schedule was affecting her sleep. One medication was making her body shed water faster, increasing her need to urinate at night. By shifting her dosage time and making a few other adjustments, her nighttime interruptions became fewer and gentler. What's important to understand here is this. Your body isn't failing you when it wakes you up. It's communicating. And that communication, while inconvenient, is valuable. It gives you information. It gives you choice. If you've ever felt frustrated with your body for waking up too early, I want you to consider this. Maybe it's not betraying you. Maybe it's reminding you to check in, to listen, to care a little more softly. In the next part, we'll continue with two more deeply human reasons behind 3 a.m. wake-ups, ones that go beyond biology into memory, emotion, and the rhythms of the heart. You'll meet Gloria and Walter, and their stories might sound a lot like yours. Make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss future videos when it drops. Let's continue. Part 4. The Hidden Power of Daily Habits. You might be surprised to hear this, but the way you spend your afternoons and evenings plays a bigger role in your 3 a.m. wake-ups than you think. It's not always about hormones or age. Sometimes it's about routine. You see, many older adults begin adjusting their schedules naturally as they enter retirement or a quieter phase of life. Meals get earlier. Evenings become slower. Physical activity decreases. Social interaction fades. And while those changes feel small and even pleasant, they send powerful signals to your internal clock. Let's walk through it. You eat dinner at 5 p.m. That's healthy, sure, but it also begins your body's wind-down hours earlier. You avoid caffeine after lunch, but maybe you're also not stimulating your mind in the evening, so your brain starts slowing down by 7 o'clock. You find yourself drifting off in a recliner before your actual bedtime. Eventually, your body adapts. It says, this must be the new day, so it resets. It starts producing melatonin earlier. It shuts down digestion earlier. And yes, it finishes sleeping earlier. Which is why, when 3 a.m. rolls around, your body may genuinely feel like the day has already begun. That's exactly what happened with Walter. At 74, he'd fallen into a gentle routine. A slow dinner, a warm blanket, the news, and bed by 8:30. No alarms, no rush. But then came the early wake-ups. Every day, 3 or 3:15 a.m., like clockwork. He wasn't in pain. He wasn't worried. He was just awake. After journaling his routine, Walter made 3 small changes. He started taking a 15-minute walk right before sunset. He added a light, engaging book to his evening, something to keep his mind active. And most importantly, he pushed his bedtime later by just 30 to 45 minutes, not all at once, but gently over time. The results surprised him. Within 2 weeks, his wake-up time shifted naturally to 4:30 a.m., then closer to 6. He hadn't forced his body. He'd simply taught it a new rhythm. Here's what that tells us. Our bodies are listening, even when we think we're just going through the motions. So if you find yourself awake in the dark, ask yourself, what messages have I been sending my body all day? And are those messages helping me sleep, or shortening my night without me realizing it? And if this part of the video is hitting home for you, take a second to leave a comment with the word rhythm. It helps more than you know, and helps us continue creating deeper, richer content for you and others like you. Part 5. The Heart's Whisper, Emotional Restlessness. Now we've come to the most delicate, often unspoken, but deeply human reason why so many people, especially in their later years, wake up at 3 a.m. It's the inner world, the emotional landscape, the unprocessed thoughts and quiet echoes of a life fully lived. Here's what I mean. During the day, most of us are occupied. We run errands, we talk to people, we scroll, watch, cook, clean, plan. There's noise, both literal and mental. But when night falls, and especially in those soft pre-dawn hours, the noise disappears. And that's when the mind begins to speak. Not in panic, not in loud, racing thoughts, but in soft, persistent questions. A memory surfaces, a regret whispers, a longing returns. Maybe it's an old friend you haven't spoken to, a spouse you've lost, a decision you wish you could make again. These are not the kinds of thoughts that scream, they hum. That's what was happening to Gloria. She's 80 now, widowed for 6 years. During the day, she stays busy tending to her roses, watching her favorite shows, chatting with her granddaughter on the phone. But night is different. Around 3 a.m., her body wakes up. Not startled, not afraid, just awake. And that's when the memories come. Of holidays with her late husband, of things she didn't say before he passed, of worries about the future, her children, her health, her independence. For a long time, Gloria thought something was wrong with her sleep. But eventually she realized something powerful. Her heart was trying to speak in the only quiet space it could find. Instead of resisting it, she began to welcome it. She placed a journal next to her bed, not to analyze, just to write. Some nights it's a sentence, some nights it's a letter to someone she'll never send. Other times it's just scribbles, a release. She also created a quiet evening ritual, writing a note to a friend, listening to soft instrumental music, or reading an old letter. And do you know what happened? Her sleep didn't become perfect, but her nights became peaceful, less filled with frustration, more filled with meaning. Because here's the truth. The human mind doesn't sleep on command. The heart doesn't follow a clock. And the older we get, the more life we carry within us, and the more it wants to be seen, felt, remembered. So, if you wake up at 3 a.m. and find your mind turning, not to stress, but a memory, or reflection, or unspoken thoughts, you're not broken. You're human. And your body might not be calling for rest. It might be calling for connection. With yourself. With your story. With what still matters. Let's take a breath together. We've journeyed through 5 deeply human reasons why you, or someone you care for, might be waking up around 3 a.m. And none of them were random. We talked about the natural shift in your body's internal timing, the slow, silent drop in melatonin, the body's whispers through discomfort, the impact of daily rhythms and routines, and finally, the emotional quiet that only the night allows us to hear. Each of these reasons carries its own wisdom. None of them are signs that something is broken. In fact, they're often signs that your body, your mind, and your heart are still working beautifully, trying to protect you, heal you, or simply be heard. And that's why I invite you to approach your 3 a.m. wake-ups not with frustration, but with curiosity. What is your body asking for? What does your routine need? What part of your past is ready to be acknowledged, not fixed, not solved, just honored? Because when you begin to understand your own rhythms, you begin to live more gently within them, not trying to rewind time, but learning how to flow with it. So here's my invitation to you. If this video gave you even one new insight, one moment of peace, one breath of clarity, leave a comment below. Share your story, share a sentence, or just say, "That's me." Your words help someone else feel less alone, and they help us keep making thoughtful, soul-centered content for this community. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Tap the bell. Join us for more reflections like this. We're not here to fix aging. We're here to understand it and walk through it with presence, wisdom, and grace. Thank you for spending this time with me. And thank you for being someone who still listens deeply, even in the middle of the night. Until next time, rest well. And remember, sometimes the most important part of healing is learning how to listen.